Hello and welcome back to the Barrow. I am the Barrow White, and tonight I'll be continuing my Kerbal Space Program series. This is episode number 4, and tonight we will be rendezvousing vessels in space around Kerbin. The active mission is to explore Kerbin, which says we need to test our rendezvous capabilities, park 2 vessels next to each other around Kerbin. What could possibly go wrong? Well, not too much, I don't think, but we will see. I have upgraded a few things. I've upgraded the mission control to facility level 2, which moved the maximum active contracts from 2 to 7, and added flight planning, which is great because I want to have the ability to automatically move or warp time to the apoapsis and the periapsis, and to add maneuver nodes. Plus, I have upgraded the tracking station, which added patch conics visible in the map, and it upgraded the maximum power. This upgrade was actually required before that upgrade was possible. So with that said, I have also already put a ship into space. Valentina, who is a new astronaut, is sitting in space with my standard orbiter rocket, and she's just up there having a good time, just enjoying the view. She's at about 93,000 meters, and she's just waiting for somebody to come rendezvous with her. So going back to the space station, I'm going to grab the exact same rocket plan model, my orbiter. That's my orbiter 1. It should automatically put Jeb inside of it. Let me see if it did. Yep, there he is. We'll go ahead and launch. Alright, so put it to full throttle. Put him in control. Now let's go to the map and see where we're at. We're launching from the space station, which is right here. And she is right there. So when she comes around the horizon, and I start to see her rise, is when I'm going to start my launch. So let's go ahead and warp time so that she comes around. Yeah, when she clears that horizon is about when I think I'm going to launch. Yeah, there she is. All right, so she's coming around pretty quickly. We'll go back to the launch pad. I've got the gas on. Nope, it turned the gas off. I've got the gas on, the fuel on. I always say the gas, the fuel on. The SAS is on, and let's launch. When I get about 100 or more meters per second, I'll start my maneuver. The maneuver is simply to lean over to about 75, 70 degrees. And this rocket tends to spin a little bit. I'll just let it spin for now. Spin isn't hurting anything. And as I get faster and faster, I will lean it over more, and higher and higher. I will lean it over more. And I'm just keeping it on that 90-degree line, which is straight east. And here in a second, I'm going to lean it all the way over to the 45-degree circle. And I'm going to, that ought to be about good right there. And just watch them. There we go. Yep. We're going to be about 90, so we're just going to be about 2,000 meters below the orbit of the other vessel, Valentina's vessel. And now I will spin this around a little bit just to get that line pointing to the right, which I like to see. Here. Right there. And I will lean, I will start maneuvering so that I'm leaning and pointing towards the horizon. Good. When this gets to about 45 seconds before the apoapsis, I'll fire the engines again and push it into a circular orbit, or into orbit, and then I'll work on if I need to circularize it or not. Okay. We're looking good. I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward so that we get closer to 45. There we go. When we get to 45 degrees, I'm going to hit the gas again, hit the fuel again, or the throttle. Get rid of those extra tanks, those extra engines. Don't need those anymore. And this takes about a minute or so to push it all the way around. The apoapsis right now is at 89. For the periapsis is negative, which means it's within the planet. If we look at this, you can see this circle would be within the planet crash. But it's getting, as I'm going faster and faster this direction, that circle is opening up, and eventually it'll clear the other side of the planet, which is called an orbit. When this number goes positive, then I might not hit the planet, but I would hit the atmosphere. But when it goes over 70,000, then I will actually be in orbit. There we go. So this is an orbit, kind of an elliptical orbit, but well, it's still pretty circular. But look at that. I ended up coming up really close to the other vessel. So let's click the other vessel and consider it as my target. Very good. So that's my target now. So let's see if I can do a maneuver. What I'll do is I will grab right here. I will grab that position, which is the ascending node, and the node is where the two orbits come together. And I can tilt them both to flatten them out. And what I'll do is I will also use these intersect points and just kind of do some fooling around to get them to go closer and closer to each other. Oh. Oops. Well, I thought I had them close. I thought I got them close together a little bit ago. This is where I usually fiddle around with things fairly ineffectively. And I have to be careful when I do this because I want to make sure that I am not shrinking my orbit so small that I'm crashing into the planet. I've ran into that problem before because I'm not actually doing any science behind this. I'm just fiddling around with it, trying to make it work. Now, right now, I'll be within 5.8 kilometers. 4.5. Ooh, I had it there for a second. Oh, 2.5. I'll live with that. 2.5. My apoapsis would be 123. My periapsis would be 92, so I wouldn't be crashing into the planet. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do, this has then given me a target to point my ship at, and then a place to do it and to burn. And the burn will be very, very subtle and small. And I think what I'll actually do is I will get into my ship and I will cut back, because I've got these still big old monster rockets on here. You know what? I don't even need these anymore. I'm going to use this instead. I'm going to put my thruster all the way down here. But kick it on. So I staged it on. I have my thruster set to about 25%. And get back on the map. And where is my maneuver node? Right here. So I'm going to zoom to my maneuver node. And by zoom, I mean time warp. And so I'm within a few minutes of that time warp of that maneuver node. I'm pointing in the right direction. Right now, I'm only 31 kilometers away from Valentina, which is pretty cool. I'll fast forward to like practically to the maneuver node itself, and then I have to burn for 3 seconds, and that's with this 25%. And I did that so I didn't have to do like a half a second burn, which is really easy to overburn. And I'm gonna hit the throttle here in just a second. And that put us, let's see, where did that put us? Where are we at? We're at 5.6 kilometers. Not bad. Not bad. And really, I could fool around if I wanted to, but now I think I should be able to just see it. There she is. Nope, that is the other vessel. That's the rocket that I ejected a minute ago. So she will be behind me. So let's look backwards. But Valentina is definitely not that far behind me. Where is she? Interesting. Oh, here's the reason. I'm looking for her, but she's still 66 kilometers away. She won't actually be close to me until we come all the way around our orbit, and then we'll be 5 kilometers away from each other. So let's warp. And as you can see, 27, 25, we're getting closer and closer. We might actually get pretty close here on the backside. We'll get within 20 kilometers of each other here on the backside. And here, we should get within 5.6 of each other. Very good. We're getting pretty darn close. 5.3, 5.2, 5.1, 4.9, 4.8. All right, it's going up now. All right, so now if I go to the map version, there she is. It's just 4.8 kilometers away. So I'm just simply going to point at Valentina's vessel to her ship. And hit the gas. And we'll just head over that way. Plenty of fuel, so I can play this if I want to. I can actually, oh, that was a little confusing. If I go just, all right, now I want to go retrograde. And as we get closer and closer and closer here in a second, I'm just going to pull this speed down to 0. I'm getting there. Remember, my throttle is at 25%. I don't know if that's going to be good enough. It did. That's considered a rendezvous. I'm within 1.2 kilometers. Practically standing still. I'm not quite at 0, but pretty close. And we are just super close to each other. And that counts. It considers that parked in space. So now the idea is to return to the planet And let's go ahead and do that. Well, I'll start with Jebediah. He's pretty excited. Look at him go. Yeah. All right. So Jebediah. Here's a space station. So I think I don't think it really matters where I land. I don't think you get a bonus for landing close to the space station. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it retrograde. That doesn't look retrograde. Oh, that's to the target, to the orbit. Retrograde to the orbit. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the gas until my periapsis drops to about 40,000. Keep forgetting I'm at only 25% thrust is why it's changing slower than I had anticipated. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off that extra part and let it burn up in the atmosphere. And now I'm just going to time warp until we hit the atmosphere, which is at 70,000, and it'll go back to time warp 1 automatically. Very good. Now I'm going to time warp until the atmosphere starts to heat up. I guess I could go ahead and do a crew report while I'm here. Why not? Actually, while I'm here, let's do some experiments if it'll let me do them. I don't know if they're worth any points. 9 points. All right, I thought I already got these points, but let's do it. That was the moon goo. Let's go ahead and get the pressure, log pressure data. Oh man, I'm getting all kinds of science up here. Let's get a temperature data. I've already got that one in space, so I don't really need that one. I'll close these doors. And now I'm going to go ahead and do what I was doing before I decided to do some science. And warp until it starts to heat up. Got a heat shield on here, so shouldn't be any problem. With heat, we're hitting the atmosphere, pretty good angle. It'll slow us down nice and slow. There we go, starting to catch some heat now. The great thing about Jebediah is he's experienced enough that I have these markers here, and he'll control it on retrograde, and I don't have to manually do that. So I feel good about leaving it in time warp while he continues. These guys are always so happy though. I'm happy to see that. Should I do an EVA? I don't even know if that's possible right now. Would the doors come open? If so, that's really bad designing. We've slowed down a bit, and when I get to about 10,000 meters above the ground, I will slow down the warp and go ahead and pop parachutes. Very good. We're going to come down in the highlands. Just kind of warp until we get closer to the planet. Parachute opened, so we should be good. This should slow down to about 6 or 7 meters per second, which this vessel can handle hitting the Earth that fast without a problem. So I'll go ahead and warp the time again. All right, we'll go ahead and land. I don't know if I've done an EVA here on this ground, so let's do that. Let's see if it'll let me. EVA report. Yeah, I'll get a little bit of science for that. Go ahead and board again, and we'll recover that vessel. Okay, we got 5, 8, 10, 12, and 1. Not bad at all. Got some science. 28.4 science earned total. Next, got all of our parts back, or at least the ones that we landed with, and he's ready for the next assignment. We can bring Valentina back, I guess, but she's all right. We'll just leave her up there. And we will take a look and see what our missions are for next time. Okay, we have some variety ones here, but I'm feeling pretty good about the number of science that we have, plus the cash that we have. We shouldn't need to do these right now to get any extra science or cash. So let's go to Explore Kerbin and see what that says. See, I'm glad I left her up there. I don't know if I have to launch 2 new vessels or not. Let's see if it says it. Our exploration of Kerbin is going according to plan. We must continue to unravel its mysteries. Crews that have been cooped up for too long start muttering about space krakens and other such nonsense. We will make sure that this doesn't happen around Kerbin. Transfer any crew between vessels near Kerbin. We'll do that one. Okay. So what that will require is for us to design a craft that has room for two people. And the simplest way to do that really is to take this existing vessel, pull this science off of it, put another one of these on there, and put that on there. And because it had more than enough to get us there before, there should be no problems at all with us getting up there and getting Valentina into this second vehicle. That seems like it would be pretty heavy. I'm not really good at measuring the science and the weight and all of that, so just to be careful, I'm going to add some chutes on here. Which one's the right chutes? You have your radio mount chutes and your drogue chutes. What is the difference? This is half-size radio mount version of the MK25. This is the MK12. This is the MK2. A parachute comparable to the MK16 chute, but which is placed radially instead of attached. All right, let's just put on. Oh, that's big. Let's put on 2 of those. And we're going to save this vehicle as Orbiter 2. All right, we'll get out to the launch pad. Oh, that's going to be more wobbly than ever. Let's recover this vessel and see about getting some better science. Not just for expediency, I am not redesigning the ship. I'm just getting lazy, I guess, and am going to pick up some parts. Right there is what I want, some strut connectors. I'm going to research those, come back in here, and add some strut connectors to this vehicle and hope that that's enough to make this stable enough to use. I'm going to save that. All right, and I think that this episode has gotten long enough. So let's go ahead and close this episode out. And the next time when we come back, we'll launch this vehicle and see about building a new vehicle for the next mission. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you later next time on the Barrow.